say that this is a once-in-a-century pandemic. But in truth, from SARS to influenza, and influenza to MERS, the next pandemic could come anytime. We need to prepare for the next one that will come and do our best to prevent further economic catastrophe.
It is crucial to find a sustainable way to address both public health and the economy in times of pandemic. It is crucial to discuss and learn from each other to find a common language across different sectors to combat a pandemic like COVID-19.
Singapore adopts both a whole of government and an all of society approach in dealing with crises. When we talk about whole of government approach, it means that we work across government agencies, not in silos, and we collaborate very closely with the community and with partners and stakeholders from across the country. It is very important then for all of the different ministries, agencies, and also community leaders and other community stakeholders to come together, because it is not one ministry's problem to solve.
There has been close collaboration between the various agencies under this whole of government approach, I think, as mentioned earlier. And while businesses are definitely impacted, I think with the restrictions in place, this is a constant conversation we need to have parties on both sides coming together to understand the issues and to find a constructive way forward.
So our message to the government was that controlling the epidemic at the early stage of the curve is a good economic strategy. And it's also good for social and health services and the kind of stress levels of the population. And this is, when you say it like this is quite common sense actually. But before that, there was some discussion from this mindset that people were only looking at the restrictions and their costs and not kind of thinking why the restrictions would be in place. So what's kind of the comparison? 2 hours ago, the government published its exit strategy for easing out of the restrictions. And our message from this midterm scenario was that the easing out should be done carefully and not rushed. So some countries have been easing out quite quickly and then seen the surge of the epidemic, and then they've had to put down restrictions again to control the epidemic. And our kind of message from both of these scenarios is that it's better not to rush this easing out, because then you will have to again adopt the restrictions.
Actually, you'll be surprised that I would say that we are glad that we implemented, I think, a lockdown. The fact that there continues to be restrictions in place, safe management measures, I think, as mentioned by Professor Vernon. How do we make sure that these measures are effective in controlling the transmission of the disease, yet at the same time, I think, not constraining business operations too much. And that is where I think the ministry comes in, the economic ministry in this instance, my ministry comes in to have constant dialogue, I think, with stakeholders in terms of trying to understand how can we refine these measures and how can we better support, I think, businesses to deal with it.
Accurate, timely and comprehensive information is absolutely integral part of anti-epidemic measure, and it is an integral part of our responsibility too. The link between the severity of the measures and the rapid reduction of morbidity is obvious, but things are not so simple. After more than a year of measures and restriction, significant pandemic fatigue has accumulated in society, and we must be aware of this.
The risk and the cost of not preparing are far higher than the required investments, as pointed out by the economists. We need to have a financial mechanism to support pandemic preparedness investment.
Now I see that even 1.5 hours after our beginning, we have more than 100 participants, means that this topic is interesting and important for everyone. And thank you for this possibility to share the experience. This is why I think that Asia Europe Foundation initiative is so timely and useful. And I think the idea and organization of this event is perfect.
We can't do it on our own. We need everyone to come together. And no country is safe until every country is safe.